So, a few minutes ago, I posted a post from a couple years ago that said, if you're still alive, the story isn't over yet. And I said that I'm waiting for a beautiful story. And I've spoken about that before. But before I talk a little bit more about that, I want to read about hope found in forgiveness because that lends itself to a little bit of what I have to say and what this makes me think of when it comes to that story I'm waiting on. So it says, bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. Colossians 3:13. Think back on a time when forgiveness was offered to you and you knew you were completely unworthy of it. It screamed of grace and selfishness and represented Jesus so well. The fact that we can call up these memories so quickly is because they deeply affected us. We were not just witnesses to the miracle of true forgiveness, we were beneficiaries of it. And what is even more beautiful than receiving that kind of forgiveness is being the one to offer it to someone else. Forgiveness is fun to talk about and feels holy to explore. At the foundation of the Christian faith, it is a core principle of holiness. But offering it to someone when they have broken your heart, rejected you, betrayed you, gossiped about you, or worse, forgiveness then becomes a task far too lofty for your comfort zone. We claim grace, but our mind fights for retaliation. We want to make sense of it. And then we remember how much He forgives us. The brutal reality of our humanity and its entitled ways hit us square in the face. And we are so thankful that Jesus chooses to walk past what we do because He knows who we are. Through this washing away, our home becomes evident. He continues to use us, loves us, claim us, and fight for us. His forgiveness is strong and all-encompassing. Nothing overpowers it. Forgiveness is a blanket that removes our fears from yesterday and secures us in the present. It wraps around the depth of our heart and tangibly shows us what love is. When we drive past our own pride and reluctance to give what is not deserved or even requested, we open the door that ushers in the deepest hope we will ever know. Offering forgiveness to others is a direct reflection of Jesus, and it shows His love in a very personal way. Not just to us, but to the person receiving forgiveness and those watching on the sidelines. So, I'm not going to go into detail. It's private, but about 15 years ago, I would say, I started to change on the inside. I've had things happen to me with men in the past that I'm not going to talk about, but I used to have a very negative outlook on guys because of it. And about 15 years ago or so, when I really started looking at God more and realizing what I just read, and thinking about how when God forgives us, He doesn't look back and hold it against us. And upon thinking more about this fact, I would always think about how this would relate to my husband, because I've said it on here that I've kind of always known that the man I marry will have made different choices prior to being with me. And I feel like part of the story, whatever it is, will be about this kind of forgiveness, but in forgiving him. And I talked about that too, but I never really went back to like kind of how like I'd been hurt in the past a little bit, and kind of what changed. And I think about what I read here about how forgiveness is a blanket that removes our fears from yesterday and secures us in the present. So like growing up, with everything. I just had a lot of fears about the future because of what my perception was about men based on different experiences. And if I didn't truly look at the Word of God and how He forgives and really open my eyes more, like I wouldn't be able to see and know that I can forgive just as Christ has forgiven us. Like there's no doubt in my mind, like when I forgive the man I love, like there is no looking back at what he did. Like I can't, that's not me today. I can't be that person. I'll never be that person. And in that, like our relationship's just going to be even deeper and more profound and stronger. And this makes me think about that. And I hate how the word forgiveness is used just in everyday conversation nowadays when people really don't know the true meaning of it or see it for what it's supposed to be, like what I just read. So for me, like forgiveness is not just a word. And so yeah, this made me think about, part of the story that one of these days I will get to share with people, and I can't wait to forgive the man I love, and in that our love will be so deep, and I perhaps he'll experience in that a love and forgiveness that he's never experienced before. Because, I see people in relationships and people just, when they get upset about something, they always go back to something that happened in the past to like hold it against that person and whatnot. And it's just wrong. And true forgiveness, if you truly forgave someone, or loved someone, I should say, you wouldn't do that. And so, yeah. I thought I would read about the forgiveness that Jesus offers, and that if you are a Christian, you really need to start really thinking about how forgiveness of God, how it relates to you in your everyday life. It's a different kind of forgiveness. It's on a different level than the rest of the world. Just like a lot of things that I talk about on here. It's value, it's words I don't hear. It's about the heart. True forgiveness is about the heart. And true love and that forgiveness it all comes down to the heart. And so, yeah. I thought I would read that, and good night.